You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today on a Training Thursday, we're going to get back to the roots. We're going to get back to essentially the evolution of human physiology. And before you just kind of zone out and you say, I don't know what he's talking about using these words like human physiology, let me tell you something. The human body was designed for very specific physical movement. That was for sprinting, for hunting, for walking, just calmly reserving energy, and for building things and doing manual labor with its own two hands. So now when we look at that and we're looking at exercise, what we're really trying to do with exercise is mimic how the body would have been physically active hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, millennia ago. And the reason is this: if you get too far away from that, what's going to happen is you're going to end up with overuse-based injuries. You're going to end up with a catabolic condition where your body's breaking down too much. And that's what I want to review quickly first, and then really discuss with you the only form of cardio that truly boosts your metabolism. So if you're actually trying to change your body physiologically, which just means like you want to look different, right? You want to have a more toned midsection. You want to have more shapely glutes or butt. These are the things specifically to do. I'm going to share that with you. So the problem is this, that really the human body is not meant to run long distances. Okay, so let's look at it this way. I have no problem with people doing a 5K or like 3 miles or less. If you want to go for a 20, 30-minute jog or run or so, kind of clear your mind, boost those endorphins, oxygenate your blood, I have no problem with that. I actually think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I've never seen any data, anything on PubMed, anything on Google Scholar, anything published that shows otherwise. However, and I've talked about this before in the Cabral Concept, long distance running, like 45 minutes, an hour or more longer, creates microscopic tears in the heart. And what happens is over time, no one run, but over time, this actually creates cardiac damage, which means damage to your cardiovascular based system, your heart, your arteries. That's an issue. That's why marathoners, who you might think are the healthiest people on earth, are not. It's a very catabolic form of exercise. It breaks down muscle tissue. It does not boost your metabolism and can actually cause heart-based issues. Now, there's a difference between going for a run, like I just talked about, a couple miles, and then going for 26 miles, right? There's obviously a huge discrepancy between 2 and 3 miles and 26 miles. Okay. So now that we've established that, what I want to talk about as well is just really quickly and briefly talk about, just really quick, I have to talk about this, is that people are doing exercise with weights all wrong now. It always goes in trends and it goes in these different movements, but they're training their body way too hard into failure with weights. No human alive, even 100 years ago, would ever do that. And the reason is this: they understand that their body's limitation is essentially what's going to push them through and allow them to actually have their career, which is usually, let's say before 200 years ago, manual labor based. It's producing something. It's actually working on a farm. It is doing something physical with their body, whether it's mechanics or things like that. You don't want to just crush your body. I don't know, what a better way is to get that across to people. But when you train to failure every single day, and every day is a personal best, every day is a competition, what you're doing is you're not exhausting just your muscles. That part's easy. Your muscles repair no problem. 72 hours, they'll be completely new. But physiologically, from a nervous system standpoint, that's how you overtrain your body. That's how you get physically exhausted, not from one workout, but cumulatively. So if every day is a personal best, if every day you're switching up your workout, if every day you're crushing your body, you're going to get burnt out. It's just the way it is. And I don't care if you're in your early 20s or you're in your 40s and 50s, which of course will make it even worse. And the reason is we're not sleeping enough, we're not eating well enough, we're not getting enough nutrition, and then we're just again, just destroying our bodies through these really hard workouts. Your workout should be anywhere between 20 and 45 minutes. It should be balanced. You should do a dynamic warm-up. You should get into some normal exercises that work on a periodization model that gradually increase week after week after week. And then, yes, they can be personal best, but you're gradually increasing. And then you switch a new program. You have an unloading week, which kind of calms the body, and then you get back into it. Okay, way off on another tangent. We need to get back to our routine. But again, I've talked about this before. I just see it so much, and people are really hurting their bodies. And they're coming to me in my practice. We're looking at the cortisol levels, and they're just depleted. They're depleted of their libido, their short-term memory, their drive, their ambition. All of these things are just zapped because they're just overtrained. All right, so let's talk about now that I talked about cardio as well. I talked about cardio, right? Long distance cardio as not being something that boosts your metabolism, but it's actually catabolic, which means you're going to burn muscle tissue at the expense, really, of your body needing more fuel. And that's not going to help because that's going to actually cause a little bit of fat gain around your middle. Not good at all when we think that we're doing cardio and walking or running on that treadmill for good reason to boost our metabolism, but it doesn't happen. So what is the only form of cardio that boosts your metabolism? Well, it's pretty simple and it's pretty straightforward. Humans on 2 legs, not 4, were given the ability to sprint. They were given this nice, long, and strong Achilles tendon that attaches at the bottom of your heel on your foot all the way up back behind that knee, or basically near the gastrocnemius, which is your calf, that big muscle in the back of your leg right below your knee. So you have this soleus, you have this gastrocnemius, and you have this Achilles, which allows you for this amazing explosion. So now, of course, many of us have lost this since we've been children because we don't do sports, we don't use this sprinting-based ability. But you can gradually get it back. Now, don't run out and start doing sprints right away. You want to build your body's ability back up to that because, again, if you haven't sprinted in years or decades, you literally could pull, which means a microscopic tears, of your hamstring or calf or Achilles, and I don't want that for you. But by doing sprinting, and I'm going to give you some examples, you can dramatically boost your metabolism. It really is that powerful. You can get away with great body weight-based exercises, doing things like push-ups and lunges and squats and pull-ups and those type of stuff, and doing sprints. And I can't argue with that. Like, I think you can get better results doing some resistance-based training with weights. There's no doubt about that. And I've seen that, right? Because you can add extra load to your body. But you can make a really good argument for that as long as you're including sprinting. Now, sprinting also works your abs and obliques and the serratus, anterior muscles, all those muscles which are right in the armpit. So, these are the muscles that people want, but they want to look like an athlete, right? Like when people say, I want to look like that guy on the cover of Men's Health or Women's Health, they're not saying muscle and fitness, which is like the big kind of like steroids. What they're saying is, I want to look like that guy. And the people they're pointed to are typically athletes, and athletes do sprints. They are very active with their body. They're twisting and sprinting and doing all of these great things. So the really cool thing is this, is that you can do a regular resistance-based workout for 30 minutes or so, and then you can just do sprints that will take you no more than 10 minutes. Like, it can really be that quick. So what kind of sprints can you do? Well, if you've kind of gradually worked your way up, you can do sprinting outdoors, which is literally, that's best. You can find a track, you can find a hill, you can do hill sprints, and all you're going to do is you're going to sprint for anywhere from 20 seconds to a minute. Ideally, not a minute. If you do a minute sprint, that's just completely exhausting. You need to be advanced for that. Do 10 seconds, 20 seconds, or 30 seconds maximum starting out. And then rest 2 to 3 times the amount of your sprint, which means if you sprinted for 20 seconds, rest at least for 40 to 60 seconds before doing your next one. I recommend at least a 3 times rest period, which means do this. Let's keep it simple, right? 20 seconds of sprinting followed by 60 seconds or more of rest. And then how many times are you going to do that more? You're going to do it another 4 or 5 times maximum. So look for a total of 5 sprints the first time you do your sprint-based workout. And don't go 100% your first sprint. I don't want you to get injured. Do a warm-up, which is some lunges, some jumping jacks, some plank, some hip swings, get your body loose neurologically and physiologically in terms of your muscles. And then do your first sprint at 50%. No one's watching. Don't turn this into a competition. Remember, not everything in life is a competition. All right, we're just trying to gradually get better. Your next one, do it 75%. And then your next 3 to 4 after that, go for 100%. Again, but keep your body in control. I'm telling you, if you do this and you just even do it twice a week, it's going to transform your body. It's going to boost your metabolism because sprints is not cardiovascular based where the limiting factor is oxygen pumping through your heart and lungs, right? The limiting factor is typically your muscles or it's some type of lactic acid-based thresholds. And again, we're not going to get into that today. But that's how it can transform your body, is that you're truly using your muscles and your whole body rather than just your heart and lungs. Now, if you're not ready for sprinting because of your knees or any type of alignment, I totally get that, and I appreciate you understanding your limitations. So what I'm going to recommend instead is to do some bike sprints. Get an upright bike, not the recumbent bike where you're seated back and you're like reading a magazine or the Wall Street Journal. What you want to do is you want to be on an upright bike, and you can still sprint for that 20 seconds. I'm telling you, it works fantastically well. And then just pedal very, very lightly after that. Now, if you're doing your sprints outside, you're just going to pace around or walk around for that 60 seconds, all right? You can do lots of other things. Stadium stair sprints. You can do hill sprints. You can even do a Versa climber. If you've ever heard of the Versa climber at a gym, like they're kind of old school now, but amazing. You could do rowing at a gym. Use the row machine, or you could use rowing at home. I use that with a lot of my personal body transformation clients as well. The rower at home is fantastic. It folds up, and then you can pull it down when you're ready to use it. So what I want you to look at is this. Just think about this. Do your normal routine, but add 5 sprints after a typical workout. Make sure you are warmed up. Make sure you are loose. No need to stretch necessarily beforehand. Just do your warm-up exercises, and then just get right into it. And again, start slow, 50%, then go to 75% speed, then you can go to 100%. I want you to stay safe. I want you to understand that exercising, whatever you're doing right now, think about it. Can you do this for basically the rest of your life? If the answer is no, you're probably pushing too hard right now, and you're not looking at the short term. Sometimes I talk a little too intensely. And so what I want you to do is this. Always think long term. This is your body. This is what's going to carry you through for the rest of your life. Treat it with respect, and at the same time, understand that you can get all of the results you want from an exercise program if you train smartly. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another Training Thursday and on the Cabral Concept. Have a great day.
Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well, finally, is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing, and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests, or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.